Okay. My name's John Holmgren. I've been a member of the Ethical Humanist Society of the Triangle for about 9 years. Both my wife and I are members. We moved to North Carolina almost exactly 9 years ago, and shortly after arriving here decided to try out the Ethical Humanist Society. Once I reached late high school and began college, I began identifying myself as an atheist. I would vacillate. I would be an atheist one day and agnostic another. But basically my feeling was that the idea of a God made less and less sense as I got older and older. But I never forgot how it felt to associate with other people in a congregation, and that part of religion I didn't really want to give up. So I was very happy to find that the Ethical Humanist Society allowed that congregational feeling, allowed the sharing that you would get in a religious congregation, but without the belief system that I had rejected. So I found it a very rewarding experience. I've been active in the group. I've served as president. I'm currently head of the program committee, and the committee lines up the talks that are given each Sunday. And I have found that a very welcome change from my church experience. Instead of listening to a minister recite a sermon every Sunday, we have different speakers from a variety of professions, from a variety of backgrounds, on many different subjects. So we find ourselves learning in this organization. We find ourselves sharing with the other members, and my wife and I think that this is an excellent organization.
I'm Hugh Giblin. I've been coming to the Ethical Humanist Society for about 20 years. And during that time, I've been what I describe as an irregular regular or a regular irregular. And one of the nice things about it for me, besides socializing with people, is that despite my sort of ambiguous, perhaps ambivalent status, people have accepted me fully. There's never been any comment, any pressure to join. And even though I've been provocative at times, there's never been any hostility. And so that, to me, is a good example of the kind of humanism inbred in this society. Besides the humanist aspects, or along with the humanist aspects, I have found the platforms outstanding. To me, somewhat to my amazement, because to be able to do this 20 years and hold platforms at least twice a month and maintain the quality of speakers and issues is really remarkable to me. And so I found the intellectual content and sometimes the inspiration from it really beneficial. I put a humanism plate on my car, and people will ask me, "What's humanism?" I'm a human, that's right. so my part of humanism. And so, I mean, that's the thing. If we're serious about making change in society, then we have to become political. And I would like to see that happen.
But that's mainly what brought me into it, is I was looking for community, and because having just lost my husband, even though we had a lot of friends, we spent all our times with each other mostly. Mm. And so I wanted to expand my community. And I was very, let alone I was also wanting to become more involved with the atheist community. So I had joined the Triangle Free Thought Society. And then I went online and saw about this. And it took me a while before I came to the first meeting here. But when I was amazed when I walked in, and it's like, wow, this is kind of like a church. Because I saw, we had Clark was singing a couple times during the meeting. We'd pass the baskets and open and closing words. And I thought that was very refreshing, because I'd never participated in any kind of church in my life. And yet it was refreshing to have that kind of atmosphere without any supernatural godlike things or any kind of dogma and all. And then of course I realized how the people here were all quite like-minded, liberal thinkers, very well educated and abreast of world events and affairs, and everybody's just really open and friendly. And I think the very first day when I said, yeah, I want to join. And I didn't realize there was a little more to it than that. But I've become very involved now and wouldn't miss it for the world.
My name's Randy Best. I'm trained as an ethical culture leader, which is our clergy equivalent, and I've been involved in ethical humanism all my life. Ethical humanism is a group where we pursue ethics as our highest ideal, for we think that human values are a human creation, and therefore it's an obligation for us in community to determine how to live, how to treat each other, and what is right and wrong. We don't do this in a vacuum. We have great human history to rely on that we can tap of ideas from the past, some religious and some not. But we see all of these ideas as human ideas and subject to human criticism and human analysis and review. So we hope that in using those ideas, we can develop something better than is experienced in the past and determine a way to live that is meaningful and productive for us. So the idea of meeting in community is that although an individual can have ideas, when you spread your ideas out through community and through dialogue, you can get other people's ideas and have the benefit from those, and to learn from that and to grow from that. So that's one of the ideas that we have for our community practice in ethical culture. So we hear talks of inspiration on ethical issues, ethical problems, social justice issues of the day, for we feel that engaging in the issues of the day is necessary for our own ethical growth. It's through seeing something that is greater than yourself that you're committed to that really gives life its ultimate purpose and meaning.
My name is Jan Broughton. When I first came to ethical culture, I came to watch for the program that was being presented. But almost immediately when I heard what the vision was of the society, I knew this was the place for me. And I've grown to appreciate having a place where I feel comfortable and where I enjoy the people who are here and the exchange of ideas, the give and take, and the acceptance I feel for my ideas. I found once I got more involved with the society and was doing things where I was before an audience, it was a very safe place to be. I was not accustomed, as you can tell, to public speaking, and having a room of people who were very accepting and forgiving was very rewarding. And I feel that I've stretched as a person because of the various things that I've been able to do within the society, and also the encouragement for social action really spoke to me. And I have been able to be involved at the national level with our parent organization, the American Ethical Union, and that in itself is just wonderful to know all these people from around the country who are interested in the same things, who have the same passions for social justice, and who want to live an ethical life.
I'm Gordon Strauss. We should be liberated from the background inhibition of speaking our minds, especially when it comes to things seen as controversial, not simply to mock social convention, conformity, and expectation, but to illuminate problems hidden away too long. And this is what is most meaningful about participation in EHST. We share a basic leap on theism. This suggests, and for me has proven to be real, a launch for sharing insights and understandings of social and political concerns that we may have in common. It is this shared basis for community that I find a comfort and an inspiration. If you want experience beyond the superficial, then that level of community may be useful. Generally, things there are not always so heavy, with kindred spirits and humor never far away.
My name is Judith Vergun. I'm a member of the Ethical Humanist Society of the Triangle because I'm very interested in being with like-minded people, people who are interested in the community, helping our global society be fair and equitable for all, and all of the activities that we engage ourselves in this particular community and society seem to be directed that way. It's a very fulfilling opportunity to be able to be with a group who can accomplish things that are really good for everyone, unselfishly, and with others in mind rather than be self-serving.
Well, my name is Jim Vaughn, and I am new to Humanism, the Ethical Humanist Society. I've been around for over 70 years and only heard about this organization 6 or 8 months ago. So ethical humanism immediately appealed to me because the word faith did not appear in any of its writings or belief systems. And I have always had that problem with organized religion because people can say anything and just say have faith, and they can ask you to believe in anything at all. And I have never been able to buy into that. So this particular organization appealed to me, and I decided I shall join and learn something from very smart people, and I really have so far.
I'm Mike Conrad, and I like ethical humanism because I like listening to the invited speakers, and that's why I come.
I'm Chris Kamen. I'm a humanist. I'm a member of the Ethical Humanist Society of the Triangle. It was founded in 1986 by Ina Evans, and so we are just celebrated our 30th anniversary, so we were all quite proud of that. Ethical humanism, otherwise known as ethical culture, was founded in 1876 by Felix Adler in the New York area. So what is a humanist? A humanist is a person who has given up supernatural beliefs, such as belief in God or gods, and who embraces science and reason as the true source of knowledge, and who is committed to making the world a better place and being responsible for making it a better place through their own ethical actions as well as through social justice efforts. It's a community thing. It's not just me trying to be a better person. I have to work to help other people to be better and help bring out their potential and their best. So what brought me to humanism? I was raised Roman Catholic. My mom and dad got divorced when I was about 10 years old, and so after that we became Episcopalian, and that lasted for just a few years, and then we switched to Presbyterianism. And due to a minister that we had that I really liked, I decided I wanted to be a minister. So I went to Presbyterian affiliated college for 3 years to become a minister. I studied different religion courses, theology courses. I studied Greek. And I decided about my senior year that I wasn't really a true believer in God, that these things were not compelling for me. What was compelling for me was social justice and equality for all. Those are the things that drove me to the gospel, to the modern gospel as I see it. And so I decided it was just not something I really wanted to do. 17 years after graduating from college, I found the Ethical Humanist Society of the Triangle. That time it was called the North Carolina Society for Ethical Culture. Found the organization. They had an advertisement in the Independent, and I went and was delighted to find a place where we could talk about ethics and social justice in the context of science and reason without any recourse to theology. I just thought that was so refreshing to have that opportunity. I've now been a member of the Ethical Humanist Society for 22 years, quite a long time. My wife Jane is also a member, and we had both of our children in the Ethics for Children program that we had many years ago. I have also officiated at weddings when I had that designation, and I have been on the board, often on the board for during those 22 years. Now, I can't go much further without saying something about recent events that have happened. I'm deeply troubled by the events in Chicago, the killing of the police, and then, of course, equally important, the killing of black men in Minnesota and Louisiana. These killings have to stop. All lives matter, but all lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter. A couple of years ago, I read The Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison, and in that, a killing occurs. A white man kills a black man for basically no real infraction. They get into a tussle, and he pulls his gun and shoots him. And I thought, that was written in the 1950s. So violence against blacks has been happening for hundreds of years. And since the 60s, I thought it would all come to an end and stop, but it hasn't. It's got to come to a stop. And so I'm calling on all fair-minded people, in particular white people, to use their white privilege to help stop this police activity and to bring order and real justice to this country.
My name is John Shaw. I was raised a Southern Baptist, but never believed a word of it. I eventually gravitated to a philosophy of rationalism, belief that reason and science were the best guides to life in this world. I tend to follow the philosophy of rationalism, basically espoused by Bertrand Russell. About 20 years ago, I was trying to find a community of like-minded people, and came across ethical humanism. I joined and discovered humanism. Now, my faith in people and humanity is pretty limited, but still came to realize that we are human, I am human, and we are all we've got. And since then, I've tried to cultivate my humanism, and I've tried to do so by trying to be the best I can be and by helping other people be the best they can be.
Hi, my name is Tony Bennett, and I'm a member of the Ethical Humanist Society of the Triangle. I don't believe in magic or spiritualism. In particular, I don't accept magical explanations for the amazing world we live in or for the universe as a whole. This is for lack of evidence, of course, but also, and possibly more important, is that I don't trust non-evidence-based systems of thought which could be used to explain or justify any observation or event or action. That's the kind of thing you just don't want clouding your rational thought. So I don't believe in magic, but I do believe in community. Some traditional churches have very fulfilling communities that provide admirable value and a sense of belonging to their members. I believe that community value can be separated from their magical beliefs and replicated within non-religious, like-minded groups. And that's why I'm a member of the EHST.
My name is Olin Bell. I just go along and talk to people and wonder who the hell that was, and I'm sure lots of people say that about me. Meanwhile, I'm being about to be, somebody's going to drag me off because they have a car. See that?
It's been 1 minute.
I wasn't available.
I'm Greta Dorfman. I'm originally from a small agricultural county in Northern California, where I lived most of my life. But for several years I lived outside the U.S. and when I came back, when I repatriated last year, 2015, I wanted to be on the East Coast and be part of a ethical and liberal-minded, open-minded community, and I ended up here living in Durham, and I come to this group every Sunday, and I've found them very, very welcoming, and I just love being here.
The best of all, when Gretchen brings her chocolate cake, I really like it.